followers. I now have all my hello, everybody. Here we go. It's Mike and Andy here hanging out as we give you some live react. And
tell you what, Andy, the rally sausage, man.
Yeah, I don't have it. It's at Ball Arena.
Yeah, I was in the right spot. But you know what the rally sausage leads to?
The celebratory beer.
Nice little celebratory banquet right there, big boy.
Look at that. That's not a small one either. You're going for the ketchup one.
It's a standard 12er. It's a standard 12er, but with the little Mile High playoff edition of the I think I got a little Mile High playoff.
There you go. Ball Arena Cup.
Yeah, man. Proud sponsor of the After Hours with Andy Lindahl, man. Ball Aluminum.
That's right. They just don't know yet. We're hoping that they want to be a part of it.
Yeah, they just got a nice little live read right there.
Yeah. Who knew? One time at some point we're gonna get a nice little whiskey sponsorship going, quite honestly. So
yeah, we'll
God, there's a lot to unpack with this. By the way, anybody that likes us for football talk, we'll be on again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Because why not, right, Mike? We might as well.
I think we might as well try it again tomorrow, right? As we always say, man, just try it again tomorrow.
But tonight we're breaking down Nuggets. Like I said, if Scotty can jump on with us, we'll let him jump on. I don't want him driving and talking at the same time, but obviously he feels like maybe saying something before you. The dude has been, and I feel bad for him. The dude has got to go home, get on a plane, and hopefully go close this thing out in Minnesota.
He's been grinding, man. He has been going, my man.
You know what? First question for you. I almost tweeted this. I asked Nate this at the end of the show yesterday. Is it really fun having two teams in this round of the playoff? I need a night off from this kind of stress, to be quite honest with you.
A lot of late nights, man, especially tonight with the what was the official tip time tonight? Actually,
45 our time. I got a buddy, shout out to our guy Ron. I got a buddy, Ron in Dallas, who he just moved to Texas his last offseason. Huge Denver fan, all that stuff. He goes, man, you think it sucks in Denver? Try Central Time. Damn near 10 o'clock every night. He's getting his feet underneath him at a new job and all that, man. It just is not good, dude. It's not good.
Yeah, so. I feel him on that. I was actually living in an Eastern time zone when the Giants, I'm a San Francisco Giants fan, when they won their first World Series. And so all the Pacific time, first pitch was, like 10 o'clock Eastern, and I'm sitting there like 1, 2 in the morning. That doesn't blend too well with the college football schedule of 5 a.m. Come on in. But I wasn't going to miss it, Andy.
No, good for you. I was giving you a hard time. I didn't know if you'd see. Everyone asks me, why do you still keep a bartender schedule? Because I told you, I stay up till 12:30 or 1 every night, even though I'm coming up on 50. But this is why. These are the times of year you got to be ready for. You know what I mean?
You got to be a fine conditioned athlete too. You can't just start doing it, wait till, April, May for the playoff season to start. You got to be conditioned to do so, man.
Look, you know how it is, football. We get a lot of stuff that goes late. All right, let's get into this. Give us your comments. You know what? I should probably tell people we're not on Twitch tonight. I'm trying out some of the other platforms to see, and you know what? It's already having its effect, quite honestly. Leave us a comment if you want to. If you can tweet something, I'll try to keep checking my Twitter as well, so we can just go ahead and read it from there. Again, not being on Twitch, I don't know how that's going to affect the comments in here. We are seeing Crystal, our gal Crystal. Appreciate her jumping in. She's the one she's the 291 hookup. Crystal, don't tell me you don't have a connection for a little bit of a bourbon sponsorship. 291.
Come on, Crystal.
Good stuff.
Even though Crystal, she called me out for my cold beer, said that she said, "Hey, coach, don't think that this is 75 hard approved." Well, there's a reason it's called 75 hard. It only lasted for 75 days. It doesn't go for 75 years. Thank God.
All right, this. Oh, we got Chris Finch in there. I'm watching, so I'm trying to watch a little of the react. I want to see. Yeah, all right. He's going to give him a little bit of credit. Finch was whining about the illegal screens, and they called that early one on Aaron Gordon, where that got Gordon out of the game. And I thought to myself, okay, are we really going to listen to this guy? Then Rudy Gobert's out there throwing hip checks. I'm like, come on, dude. We're really going to do this right now?
Yeah,
But
I like
they
the
calmed
officiating
down.
tonight. I like the officiating. I thought it
I
was good.
liked the mid second quarter beyond.
Yeah, that's
It's
what I
playoffs.
want.
Let them
Yeah,
play a bit.
yeah. No, early on, it was a little strange. I heard. I was actually coaching a softball game for the first 7 minutes of the basketball game, so I missed that. So you will have to keep me up. Well, tell me how the game opened. What happened in the?
Well, it was way too many fouls. Minnesota got a bunch of fouls. Look, Jamal. I think Jamal's calf got a little loose. Here's what I'm concerned about with Jamal. Right? He made the shots at the end. That was good. He didn't have the same burst as the other night. Right? Now he got those 3 days off. He looked really good in game 3. You could just see it again. This every other day stuff, I think, is hard for him in the calf. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think they finally got it loose. He looked a little more himself. He was able to get away from the one-man press they were trying to do a little bit better. Dude, straight up, Jaden McDaniels and Nikhil Alexander Walker they were just a couple times, even at the end. I don't know who it was. It might have been Alexander Walker, just flat smacked him in the face. This one's getting a little physical, but I kind of look, man, it's playoff basketball, right? I like this. I'm not here
I
for
love
you.
it, Andy. I love the chippiness.
Let's have a little anger.
Yeah, and even Minnesota goes down double digits, kind of sustains for the majority of the second half, and they're getting frustrated. The Nuggets are getting frustrated with some of the hard fouls that are being called. That really a few of them should have been technicals. I thought Rudy Gobert's challenge. I think it was on a Nikola Jokic layup. I mean, he finished with that elbow right across his freaking chin. I mean, that should have been called as at least a technical. It wasn't. It was a flagrant one. But the series is chippy, and I'm here for every single bit of it, Andy. Every bit of it. I love chippy playoff basketball, games 6 and 7. Hopefully we get it done in 6, though, Andy.
Look, you think you kind of need to. You don't want to play with a game 7. You just don't want to have to mess with that. Weird things happen. You don't want the reffing to be a story out here. It is. Yeah, I think they can get it done. Look, I don't want to talk too much noise. I kind of got some noise loaded up. We're on Twitter, we're on the internet. I got some shit talk ready to go there.
Let's let it ride, man. Let it eat.
Part of me wants to hold off a little bit. Okay, this ain't done. Minnesota could go. Again, I won't be shocked. This is feeling like that Vegas Dallas series first round, where each home team lost their games in the first 4, and then it went chalk with the home teams winning 5 and 7.
How good was it to actually see a Denver sports team win a second round home game in this series, in either one of the two series? 1 and 7. The home teams in these series, both on both series, were 1 and 7 going into tonight. That's insane, man. That 8 games and only one home team had won between the Avs Stars and the Nuggets T-Wolves series. That's not normal, man. Especially in the same sports town. That's very, very abnormal.
Well, I mean, they always say it's not a series till the home team wins a game, but look, I think. I don't know, man, Mike. I think they've got their mojo back. Who do we credit for this? Because look, you've coached a lot of teams. You've been in a ton of locker rooms. You've been in a ton of different scenarios. You can't tell me there wasn't something off with the Nuggets after game 2. Okay, I'm glad it all got fixed. But seriously, we're not just making stuff up when all of us were talking about, I don't know about this anymore. There could be a problem here. To me, I think we may legit have to thank Shaq and the national media for giving the champs a reason to have a chip again.
I think we all should go to the dang Red Rocks concert and listen to DJ Diesel, man. Dial up some EDM, because the man came through in the clutch for our Denver Nuggets. He didn't know it. He was doing it at the time because of his massive ego, trying to say that he was a better big man. That's essentially what he said, even in his apology today. So that, he said Nikola Jokic is one of the best big men in a long time. Since when, Shaq? Since you were playing, bud? I like that. And I don't think it did anything for Nikola, to be honest. I don't think it did a damn thing for Nikola Jokic. I think that Nikola Jokic is always going to read whatever's in front of him and break it down. And I think it did for everybody else around him, namely Jamal Murray. And I think that Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic were just in a little bit of just watching the basketball. I don't know anything behind the scenes, but just looked like a bit of a rut. And Jamal Murray's been in a rut, both physically, I think even emotionally, in some of those early, really the Lakers series was a little bit off most of the game until the game winners. But then early on in this series, man, he was really off. But I think, I don't actually think Jamal Murray right now is in that bad of physical condition in terms of the calf strain. Because I saw the burst, man. I saw everything that he does in vintage Jamal Murray in the second half tonight. So if it's the second half, like you've already tested that calf in the first half and you're even more explosive. I just think that he's playing himself into this postseason before our eyes. And that's a scary damn thing for everybody else in the NBA.
Yeah, we got a lot of people. Mike says, you know what? You better go ahead and just sign. The Broncos should sign Jokic now. He is look, man, he might be ahead of the third best QB on that depth chart right now.
The one thing I know about Nikola Jokic, man, I know D-Mac would disagree and I could care less, but Nikola Jokic could fit in a 3rd down and 8 dig route. And I'd love to get D-Mac on the air and ask him to define what a dig route is in football. I want to hear him describe it. What is a dig route, D-Mac?
Show up. Have him show up. You can talk about it. You know what? See again, Storch. We know him as Storch. Angelo wants to credit Shaq. Crystal is saying Shaq pissed him off. I again think all this is right. I think they're right, Mike. I do think. Look, again, from your experience in this thing, it's good to have someone put the chip back on, right? It felt like everybody. See what I think. If I'm the Nuggets, here's what I think you can get hacked off about. And Tom Brady's made a career out of coming up with a chip, right? Coming up with some reason that he's got to put a chip on his shoulder. But it finally felt like everybody was starting to give the Nuggets their flowers. And then the moment this happened, they were like, see, we never believed it. We never bought you. This is bullcrap. How dare I tell you I love you? I don't love you.
The national audience hates the Nuggets. Let's call it like it is.
I know.
Man. They hate it. They hate Nikola Jokic. They hate him. They think he's boring. They think he's like he has a sloppy build. They hate him. And then they're so excited to just throw the dirt on the Denver Nuggets when they're down in this series, or at least tied, right? They were down, right?
Oh, yeah.
0-2. 0-2 at home. The national narrative was just there was so much excitement about moving on from the short-lived championship era of the Denver Nuggets. And you know what? Here's what I saw with the chip on the shoulder thing. Michael Malone, and I have a privilege to interview him on the Michael Malone show on Dempsey and Company. Yeah, I usually get him once every other week, depending on the days that it hits with when I'm on. The guy he's the coach's coach, man. He is the ultimate coach. He's a guy. He wants that team to play every single night out with the chip on their shoulder. And I think Michael Malone was up to his eyeballs in frustration after games 1 and 2. But what happens in a locker room, what happens on any team in any sport is the coach can't get that done always. You can try every motivational tactic in the book. It's got to come from within. It's got to come from the guys that are lining up between the lines and go out and play the game. And that's exactly what happened after game 2, is that the guys that were between those lines, they decided enough's enough. We're not going to let this Timberwolves team beat us to the blitz on the defensive side. We're not going to let them wedge us in to play 94 feet of contested basketball to bring the ball up. And they said, screw it, man. We're just going to go play our basketball. And tonight, I thought, Andy, was the most recognizable night of this postseason of Denver Nuggets basketball. What does that look like, Andy? I think it looks like this. It looks like Nikola Jokic making the play, whatever it may be. It might be the pass. It might be taking Rudy Gobert to the bucket, just making the right play. But then I also think it's this, I think it's Jamal Murray streaky, but he gets his scoring chunks in the right times of a basketball game. Aaron Gordon, always the X factor. He is the chip on the shoulder when they're playing right. Christian Braun's athleticism showed up tonight in a major way. I think the Denver Nuggets are better right now in this era when Michael Porter Jr. is more of kind of like the auxiliary ancillary player that when he's hot, it's a bonus, as opposed to early on in this postseason when he was the primary scorer most nights. I think tonight looked like Denver Nuggets championship basketball, and I was really excited about it.
Well, KCP found his shot again.
That
Christian
too.
Brown's become a valuable member of the bench again. You got quality minutes from Reggie Jackson to help keep things afloat in the first half. Justin Holiday gave you another good run, in the first half, like you needed. I agree. I wanted to ask you this because some of the things I was sensing, and we don't know. And I don't know what your longest run has been, but I just wonder, and you come from football. Neither one of us comes from the marathon sports I'd like to call like a baseball or the hockey or the basketball.
Marathon, at least in the regular season sense.
Right. Now,
The
again, you're still in
marathon.
it a long
The
time,
offseason
man.
of college football is that is a damn marathon. Nobody really was watching every single one of your performances.
It's fair to think guys probably get a little tired of each other, right? After a while. I mean, teams are not kumbaya all the time, no matter how good the chemistry is. Fair enough.
Well, it's no different, Andy, than just think about like where we work, right? Like at altitude, man. There's times where you're like, dude, do I really want to see that guy again? Do I really want to see him?
Do I really want
to
to talk to me about by DMAC again? Do I really want to hear about the gold jacket he's already measured him for after rookie camp?
It's no different in basketball, man. It's no different in football. It's the same thing. You show up, the relationships they might be more magnified and covered in the media, but at the end of the day, they're still organic human relationships. And you're exactly right. It does matter. And there are little ruts that you get into. And frankly, like I think that Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic were in a bit of a rut. I think they were. I think Nikola Jokic, and I'm reading body language. I have no intel. Dempsey's the best. He never tries to tell me any drama because he knows that I'll go out and say something stupid because I'm a moron. But I do think that there was a moment, game 1, game 2 of the Timberwolves series at home, where I think Nikola Jokic was frankly frustrated. And I saw it in the post-game press conference after game 2 when the question was asked of Nikola Jokic about body language and about how you responded and about I think frustration, like visible frustration was asked of Nikola Jokic. And Jokic just flat out said, I didn't have any visible frustration. Did I? He goes, you need to ask Jamal about that. And like, that's exactly what he said. And I was like, as a coach, as somebody that's always kind of trying to read the tea leaves of the situation, and then as a coach, you try to address those things. I think at that point in time, they were in a bit of a rut in their chemistry, in their relationship. And I think that it was a little bit about Nikola Jokic being like, hey, Jamal, are you healthy or are you not? Can you play or can you not? Just make a decision and go. And that's exactly what Jamal Murray's done in games 3, 4, and 5. He made a decision and he freaking went.
By the way, shout out to Andrew and Scott jumping in the comments. I'm going to highlight this from Daniel. I've never seen Jokic play with that type of chip. If a creeping Murray is scary, an angry Joker should be terrifying. I highlight that comment because, Mike, look, we don't often see Joker let a guy know, I don't really care for you. He just kind of seems unbothered. Now, he's competitive, right? You see guys compete against each other. I do not think he likes Rudy Gobert. I do think that he's got a little extra sauce for Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, and you know what I loved about the Timberwolves game plan tonight was pretty much isolating Joker with Gobert. That was it. And I just love the amount of space that the Nuggets created for Joker to go do what he does. And he did what I think every Denver Nuggets fan wants him to do almost every night. It's like when you get that one-on-one matchup, go to work because you are the absolute best post player. His little it's not even a drop step. It's like a Euro 3. It's like a Euro 180 where he just does it so damn quickly to get right to the cup. It was so good tonight, man. It was so freaking good tonight. What's funny is I look back, Andy, at this series, and I've been at game 1 of both of the playoff series at Ball Arena so far. And I think that the Nuggets played uneven basketball through 5 games of the Lakers series. It made the Lakers look better because their shots just weren't going down in a very typical manner of the Nuggets this year and last year. And then certainly games 1 and 2, the shots just weren't going down, right? Everybody's saying, what the frick's going on? This team is, this team's washed. This team's cooked. I looked at it a little bit differently. And I thought that the basketball, very different than football. Basketball is a game of like, you have 4 to 6 game stretches where you just don't have the shots going down. But it doesn't sustain with a team like the Denver Nuggets. That type of bad basketball is not going to carry on for 10 games. And I think that's what happened is that frankly, the as hot as the Timberwolves were from the Sun series into the first 2 games of this series that we're watching against the Nuggets, that's how cold the Nuggets were compared to what they had been during the regular season. The pendulum was going to swing, and the pendulum has swung, and the Nuggets are playing Nuggets basketball.
Well, another guy I want to talk about, I'm going to text Scotty real quick and see if he can jump in before he leaves the parking lot.
I'd love to get old Scotty in, man.
Well, I want to talk to him about this too. Again, I don't want to hold him up too much because he really does have a brutal schedule. The guy I want to talk about, the guy at 40 points for Nikola tonight, by the way. One of the ESPN bets. Oh, we're going 2. That's
you see what that is right? That's an American beer right there. That's a Weld County beer where I call home, man, out here, Weld County.
Hey, when you wake up and go, "Why I got a dang headache?" That's the one right there. That's
no, never, man. Busch Light goes. I mean, it. You know what it is? Coors Light is Rocky Mountain ice cold water. Busch Light is just it's dirty. It's dirty Midwest water. That's all it is. Just like those rivers that you see in the Midwest.
Yeah, hey, it ups your immune system because you're exposing it to everything by drinking that thing there. No, look, man. I would say I want to talk about Aaron Gordon, man. Aaron Gordon. 18 points tonight. Seems like he had more. Well, you know what I loved about Aaron Gordon? You want to talk about being tough? Like we get the old fake tough guy. Scotty likes to tell you who's a fake tough guy in the league off the air a lot. But guys, he thinks they act tough, but if they had to play in his day, they wouldn't maybe be feeling themselves so much. There's no fake tough guy in Aaron Gordon tonight. I loved it. They were bumping him. They were fouling him, and he kept going to the hoop. Jamal Crawford talked about it at one point. He went at Gobert one time trying to end his life, as he said, trying to dunk that thing so hard. Aaron Gordon was a man. He was not afraid of anything tonight. He did not like how Jamal got thrown down. He went over and got in their face about that. You're seeing the heart of a championship here, right? I mean, again, I get why the Wolves felt good about themselves. I do. And they may end up feeling good about themselves come Friday when the Thursday game is over. But it's kind of, I kept saying it, Mike, it reminded me of the 2007 Rockies, the run the Wolves were on. Unfortunately, I've also seen this with the Colorado Avalanche. You get 4 or 5 wins, in their case, 6 wins in a row, no adversity, everything seems easy. Everything seems like no big deal. And the very first time you taste a little bit of a loss, you always wonder how a team's going to respond. And look, they're back to just, this is the Nuggets Wolves of the regular season, and it's good to see it. I'm glad it showed up in time.
Me too, brother. Yeah, you know, and I think there's some things that you have to look at. This series now going back. Think about the psychology of both of these teams right now. This series is going back to Minnesota. Minnesota is a place that I lived, Andy. I coached in the flagship university of the football program at University of Minnesota, the Golden Gophers. And that's a place that it's a fantastic sports city. It's very much like Denver. However, it's the type of city when you go to any game, you can go to T-Wolves, you can go to the Twins, you can go to the Vikings, you can go to a Gophers game. And just about everybody in that crowd, if you have a first half lead, you're up in the third quarter, they just have a stigma as a fan base of Minnesota sports that they'll say to you, third quarter, you're up by 14, in a football game, you're up in a basketball game. They look at you and they go, oh, don't worry. Fourth quarter's coming. Yeah, you know exactly what's coming. And that's exactly feeding into this series, Andy. They started out 2-0. They took it back to Target Center for what should have been a celebration of Minnesota sports, and they got their balls kicked in for 2 games on their home court. And now you just had it again, and you just had vintage Denver Nuggets basketball. They know what's coming.
Well, but Mike wasn't there. Look, man, we watched this T-Wolves team last year. To me, their special player, no one can deny, Ant is special.
He's so fun to watch, man. He's so fun
totally
to watch.
Elite. All right. So Scotty's, he was calling me. Look, all I know is everybody else is starting to look like they did. You know what I mean? Everybody else is starting to, like Karl Anthony Towns, starting to look like he did before. Dude, Cat, Naz Reid, all those guys, they were on one in Denver. That game, too, they never could shoot any better. I was like, who are these dudes? And instead, now they've gone back and they're looking like they always look. They're looking like the T-Wolves that we know. So
This is phenomenal right here, Andy. Look at this, man. Greetings from Kuwait. Enjoying the talk. Nice to get the Nuggets back on parade.
Yeah, we all got to think. Michael Martinez is a guy. I've been following him since my KOA days when I had my night show. Mike, great to hear from you. Great. Frankly, Mike, I'm glad he's safe. Mike served our country for a long time, and I appreciate we appreciate everybody out there that is served. But,
I'm gonna if you're out there, man, hoist a glass for Mike and all those that have served our country and are currently serving our country. We think about you, we love you, and we're appreciative of you. So cheers to you, Mike.
Cheers to you, Mike. Great to hear from you. See, this is fun, man. It's the internet. I'm going to try to get Scotty on. Here's the other thing we can do. See, I don't know if I feed it through the board. I think you guys will hear it. I might have to put my headphones in though to hear him, so I can get that set up. If I
hey, real quick, Andy, right here, my man Curran Horn, he said this. He said, I wouldn't talk too much trash. We put like shit on our own court. And I do agree. Like this, I guess my take on Minnesota sports and about this series heading back to Minneapolis for Game 6, a potential closeout game, certainly a game where Minnesota is going to do everything they can to defend their home court and take this to a Game 7. There is a stigma in Minnesota sports, and I do think it's less about the fact that the Nuggets won a couple ball games, 3 in a row, and all of a sudden the world's just back and restored. It's going to be a tough-ass game. It's going to be a hard game in Minneapolis. It's not going to be easy. But I do think this. I think that the Nuggets are playing Nuggets basketball right now. And just like I said earlier, the way that this postseason started with the Lakers series, and then the first 2 games of the Nuggets T-Wolf series, basketball is a pendulum that just swings, man. And there's hot teams. Basketball is a game of streaks, Andy. It really is. And right now the Nuggets look like the Nuggets, and that's a good thing. And it's
they do, because they got woken up and they can shoot. Okay, here, let's do this. Let's try this. I'm going to call Scotty, and we'll see if we can all hear him. Are you hearing the dial tone? Now he just hung up. I wonder if he's trying to jump in. Did you hear the dial tone?
I didn't hear a damn thing.
Hold on, let's try it again. See, I can feed this. This is the podcast board that I use to record interviews, but I don't know if it's going to.
Can you actually feed it into?
I'm trying.
That would be amazing, because DMAC just does like the really awkward, like holds up the phone right here.
Hold on. Now, are you hearing Scotty? Scotty's talking. Can you hear him talk, Scotty? No, you're not getting him?
I get nothing. Do you have him?
Yeah, I can hear him through the board. I don't know why the whole board is not feeding into. All right, Scotty, do me a favor. Are you driving? This is great. Okay. Can you just jump on the invitation and just put the phone down on your seat and you drive, and we'll just make it like a phone call? Can you just do that? All right. We'll wait for you. Okay. Scotty's going to jump on, but he's going to do the night moves.
Scotty is worth waiting for. I'll say that. He is worth waiting for.
I just don't know why the phone is not feeding the audio. It should be feeding the audio, but that's okay. That's okay. You know what? He's going to jump on, and we'll watch him drive in the dark. No, I agree with you. Basketball is a game of runs. I just feel like there is also something about knowing what it takes to get all the way to the finish line. And the T-Puppies don't know that yet. Now, here comes Scotty. Okay, we're going to add Scott.
Let's go.
Scotty, there. What are you doing? He's got the brick wall while he's driving.
He's looking good.
Don't be looking at us.
No, don't do it.
I'll put it up here. There you go. Well, whatever. I can hear y'all. You're gonna have to stare at the brick wall.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We're not no accidents, or this is gonna be a problem. All right, man. Scotty, just give us your assessment of this game tonight. Mike and I were talking obviously about how we enjoyed it, and I love, frankly, some of the physical nature. What'd you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think they had a different game plan. They decided how they were going to play Nikola Jokic. Anthony Edwards, and Anthony just killed Phoenix in that first round, and he's now had 2 sub-20-point games, and for him, that's That's rare, if you will. But I thought they had a good thing on that. They were able to survive. Murray was okay, 7 of 14. Gordon was okay, 7 of 14. Gordon had 18. He had 16. KCP started making some threes. He was in double figures. They were able to survive another really poor shooting night by Michael Porter, who was just 2 of 10. But it was the big fella, man. I walked out and I saw the ESPN crew, and I said, "We'll see you down the road." And, okay, I said, "How do you like our big fella?" They stopped. They were walking. You ever talk to somebody and they're walking, but then you say something, and they stop. So I go, how do you like our big fella? They both stopped and go, "Oh my God, he's really good." Well, yeah. I mean, Joker on national TV in front of the commissioner who handed him his MVP trophy before the game, and he hates that. I know Joker hates that type of attention. So he just goes out, throws up 40 points and 13 assists, 7 rebounds. He scored or assisted in the first quarter on 21 of the 28 points. And that was just the first quarter. So he kind of set the tone, and Minnesota didn't have an answer. I mean, listen, Rudy Gobert, when we were in Minnesota, got the Defensive Player of the Year award. Joker just dropped the Defensive Player of the Year award winner 40 points on him. So think about that.
Is there something personal there? I was asking Mike that. That looked a little – Joker to me is sort of just goes about playing basketball, but it looks like he got a little something for Gobert.
No, you know what? I spoke with one of the brothers
Okay.
when we were in Minnesota, and Joe got.
Oh, would you lose him?
Nikola likes playing there.
Yeah, we got you now.
The warden's trying to call me back. Yeah, the brothers told me, goes, yeah, Nikola really likes to play against Rudy. So yeah, no kidding.
Hey, Scotty, I've been listening to you guys on PhD. Tap Tap. That's been something that was a huge piece of your time with the Bad Boys, Detroit Pistons. Two-parter here from me. Can you define Tap Tap? One, and then on a scale of 1 to 10, rate the Tap Tap performance from the Denver Nuggets tonight.
Well, I would say I'll rate them first. Except for Michael, who still struggles against physical play, I think they've answered the bell, and I'm not sure they haven't played. They've already played in these last 3 wins more physical than they did in any one game against the Lakers. In fact, I'll be honest with you. I think they were on cruise control against the Lakers. The Lakers just not a good team. I mean, they got 2 great stars, but they're just not a great team. And they tried to play that way in those first 2 games at home and got beat. Tap Tap for us was, and I'll ask you, Mike, as a football guy, because I think all sports are the same. The X's and O's are the only thing different. Have you ever seen an aggressive team not playing with urgency in the game?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I look back at our time, and that was our thing, was Tap Tap. When all of a sudden we were dragging, the game was, we were either losing control of the game, or, they were on a run or whatever it was, and we were kind of going through our emotions. Somebody in the huddle would always step up and go, "Tap Tap time, let's go. Time to tap tap." And that meant you were laying bodies on top of bodies. And it was time to be physical. And so that was our sign. It was we always said tap tap. And it's funny because I've been telling that to Malone the last couple of days. He really likes it. And then before every game, I say that to Aaron Gordon now. I go up to Aaron, I go, "Aaron, tap tap." He shakes his head and goes, "Yep, tap tap." So I'm trying. It's funny. I texted Isaiah Thomas, the good one, and I said, "Hey, I'm bringing Tap Tap back to the Nuggets. Hope you don't mind." And he goes, "I love it." So
Oh
yeah,
man.
Tap Tap just meant it's time to get physical and quit messing around.
Yeah, I love that, Scotty. Like there's so many things that simple word association with something that means so much more.
Right.
And it probably happened organically in your time with the Pistons, where that was a thing where it just hit everybody's brain. You didn't have to sit there and talk for 20 minutes about motivating factors. You said tap tap, and everybody knew what the hell that meant. I
Yeah,
absolutely love that.
that meant it was time to go. And it's funny you say that. It really was. I mean, you didn't. I mean, think of a long-winded, get off your ass, fired up, let's play harder speeches we've heard in huddles and timeouts, and it was all cut short with just 2 words: tap tap.
Because that actually meant something to the players, and that's what I said, Scotty. I was talking about this overall series, like the Shaquille O'Neal comments. How he basically interviewed Jokic right after winning the third MVP. It probably didn't motivate Nikola Jokic, but what it did is that everybody else around him said that's our guy. And that's almost a thought that I had. Like there was something that woke up in the surrounding cast around Jokic. And he reads it so well. He reads every possession so well that if everybody else around him is on the level that he's at, look out. And that's, I think, where we find ourselves right now.
I love this past week, or maybe towards the end of the season. I'm not sure when. Somebody asked Aaron Gordon why Nicola's so special, and he said he's just a genius that happens to play basketball. And I went, whoa, that's and you know what, and you know how I can say that, how powerful that is, because we see him on the court, like you said, Mike. He's controlling everything, dude. They're calling a play, and he's pointing to where everybody needs to be for the defensive assignments. I mean, he's calling out where to be. But he keeps the game in perspective. And when the game's not going on, guess what he is? He's a dad and a husband. And not many guys I've seen have been able to balance that. And I would say it's a young age, but we forget he's played, this is 9th season, so he's not young anymore, right? Just 29 though, but he has the right perspective on life around the game. Everybody takes it, well, he doesn't love basketball. Oh yeah, he does. He loves basketball played the right way. Now, if there's games we can go back and look and see when he looks disinterested, I promise you there's a whole lot of shenanigans going around, guys trying to get theirs, doing all this. And he's like, all right, go ahead. Y'all play that way. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, you go on and play. You'll play for the Los Angeles Clippers and be Bones Highland. That's the bottom line, man.
Hey, how about this for tweet of the night, you two? I gotta give you this. So Shea Serrano is the guy's name. He's an author out of New York. I found him tonight. They just flashed it on Altitude. He tweeted, "This might be the first night we've seen an I should have won MVP game out of the guy that won MVP." I think that sums it up.
That's really good. That is really good.
What's the schedule now? You guys heading to? When are you getting out of town?
I leave tomorrow at 11:30. They play Thursday, and if there is a game 7, we'll play that in Ball Arena on Sunday night, I believe.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me. There'll be no game 7.
Well, listen, I believe in conspiracy theories when it comes to the NBA.
I do too.
And I think if Denver is able to win game 6 in Minnesota, it will be a Herculean effort. Agreed. And they will have to beat multiple people, more than 5.
Yeah. Hey, Scott, I don't know how you feel about this. My tinfoil hat's pretty strong right now, but after game 2, where the whistle was just, it was in the pocket. There were no whistles, and it played right into the T-Wolves defensive strategy, blitzing the ball, absolutely assaulting Jamal Murray all up and down the floor. I sat back. I'm like, the NBA wants game 3 to be officiated very differently than game 2. And I think we saw that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it was a little bit of embarrassment. And the thing went south when Jamal took that charge on Towns in game 2, and it was a charge. I mean, that's a charge any way you look at it, and not a no call. And that's when, listen, they lost their minds. It went from playing the game to distraction. Now every comment was at the official, everything was talk, and they didn't play basketball for game 2. And another thing for the motivation, and you know this, Mike, Andy, you know this, a true competitor, tell a true competitor he ain't got a chance to do something.
Yeah.
Tell a true competitor you ain't no good. I'm being very serious. Any guy I've ever seen, I'll tell you a quick story. I've told Andy this before, Mike. You'll like this. I'm going to name drop. I'm playing in a golf tournament with John Elway. We're partners, and we got beat out of the match play. And so these 2 guys that we'd actually beat say, hey, you want to play another one? Want to play 9 holes while the finals of the tournament's going on? John goes, yeah, let's go. Let's play 9. And they're playing for money now. And eventually got that. John wasn't going to say no. But this guy on the first tee, so what's everybody's handicap? Blah, blah, blah. John, I think at the time, he said, I'm a 5. And the guy goes on the other team, goes, they said, okay, I'll match up with him. I can see John Bristle. Get 2 holes in. John tops it off the tee about 20 feet. And the same guy goes, I got my guy. And Elway is walking to his ball. And if you're a golfer and ever hit one about 10 feet, you're pissed off anyway.
You're pissed off, and usually your trousers hang. You had to open up your trouser and hang it out a little bit.
Yeah. And this guy goes, well, I got my guy. And like I told you, those ESPN announcers, Elway stopped, didn't say nothing, started going, walked his ball, hit a beautiful recovery shot, hit his 3rd shot to the green about 6 inches, tapped it in for a par. The guy that said, I got mine's got 5, but as soon as Elway reached in and got his ball, he goes, who had me? I went, dog, you don't mess with a competitor. What's the old saying? You don't kick a sleeping dog. Man. And I think the national media kicked a wounded dog, and Denver's back was to the wall, so to speak, and they've come out in these last 3 games and played like it.
How about this from Ant from the locker room? I like this because I'm sure some of the guys in there were salty, but this is from the Action Network. Quote, I just laugh. That's all I can do. I can't be mad. He's the MVP. He's the best player in the NBA. So, look, you think the young fellow's learning something from Joker? Because he kind of had a quiet night tonight.
Well, here's my only problem with Anthony Edwards. And I think, and we got to remember this, he's only 22 and coach. He could be a senior in college at 22, right? I mean, he's still a kid.
He's a lot younger than Bo Nix.
Yeah, there you go. He's younger than a couple guys got drafted this year. He's a star, and he's gonna be one of the faces in the league soon, but he's too immature. He's still about making faces to the crowd. He's still about, whispering shh to guys when he makes a shot. He's immature. And, when they got beat at home in game 4 and he's like just laughing and joking up there, I'm like, I'll ask you guys, you've seen all the pressers. Do you think Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, who he's been compared to, would ever, after losing 2 straight games at home, be joking around in a press conference?
Yeah, hell no. And then you lose game 3 and you just further the point, that there's a level of stoicism that exists in all the great ones. And right now, Ant Edwards doesn't exhibit that level of stoicism after a victory or a defeat. Yeah, I think his highs are too high right now, and his lows are almost his defense mechanism is to be silly, to be funny, to do something that's more entertaining than it is about playing basketball and making the adjustments that are needed.
Yeah,
All right,
he should have came out and read the team a riot act. Now let me ask you this, Mike, did you major in psychology or something? Because you sound a lot like my therapist.
He's a coach. He's a coach.
Huh?
Hey man,
coach.
Hey, Scotty, when you coached the 2022 CU Buffs for 8 weeks, you better have been pretty dang good at psychology. I'll tell you that. Andy was there for every single one of those games. It was a test in coaching psychology, that's for sure.
Yeah, all right, it is at every level, isn't it?
No doubt about it. Hey, I was going to ask you this, Scott. Go ahead, boss.
Last thing, also, I was really disappointed. Michael had a bad game, and there's a lot of defenders of him. He's 2 of 10, wasn't active defensively. He just had a tough game. People have tough games. It's how you bounce back. But when you get taken out and you basically are chewing at the coach, and I could see Malone was getting hot at him. He's like challenging the coach when he's taking him out, walking off the floor, and I'm like, dog, you're 2 for 10 and have 5 points. Why are you upset you're coming out?
And he was afraid to shoot tonight. That's what it was never more evident. We all know that Michael doesn't have a complete round game. Now, look, he got a couple blocks in. I give him credit. He found some other ways to do some stuff. But, bro, when you're afraid to shoot, that is what you're out there for. And frankly, look, man, Christian Braun has been a bother to Anthony Edwards. Nobody's going to say it, but Christian Braun has not been afraid to be right there in the jersey bothering him off the first dribble. Nobody else on the team's been doing it that way. Christian deserves to play right now if Mike can't hit his shot.
Andy, we've done this enough. Christian Braun's getting in his chili.
he's
getting up in his chili.
Yeah, and that's not a cool guy to have in your chili, is it, man? If you're Ant Edwards, you don't want Christian Braun, the Kansas boy, all up in your chili. And I know that hits home for you, Scotty. But hey, I had a question. I brought this up earlier. The current iteration of the Denver Nuggets, when the Denver Nuggets are playing their best basketball, and of course you have to look back to last season and the run they went on, it's almost like the Nuggets are best when MPJ is more your auxiliary, like bonus points, as opposed to the guy that you're depending on, which if you look at the first 7 games of this postseason, MPJ was the best guy out there, but the Nuggets weren't playing their best basketball overall as a team. I still think that MPJ is really I don't want to say he's the bonus in this iteration of the Nuggets in his progression as a player.
Yeah, he's that 8th hitter that goes 2 for 3 every night and keeps the pitcher in the rotation so he's not leading off the next inning. Yeah, listen, he's got a great shot, but I get hammered and I probably hold my tongue more than even people realize. He doesn't like physical contact. And I think until he understands if a guy's going to get in my chili, this ain't AAU basketball. You can't go all the way out to the half court line to get the ball. You've got to slide that guy, push him back, step through, get by him, go back door once in a while, make a back cut. You've got to do other things. Instead, when guys get physical with him, he starts standing. And this, I always say this, I compare it to boxing. What they tell the great boxers, you got to move, bob, boom, bob your head, get that thing moving, because a moving target's harder to hit. He helps the defense out too much by standing. And I thought he learned that in Game 5 against Miami last year, where I saw him move more, getting some layups. But he's back again. Minnesota's getting real physical with him, and he's taking himself out of the game. And when he does shoot, they're kind of forced shots. And then he got one in the fourth quarter wide open. He was at the 45-degree angle, and that thing hit flat on the back of the rim.
Hey, Scotty, I was listening to Kreckman and Lindahl the last couple of days, and it's something They brought up on the air something that I've been questioning. I didn't know how to address it myself on the air, but where's Peyton Watson been and kind of why? Do you have any thoughts on that? Any insight?
It's kind of like Sam Darnold got benched with the Jets, and no one even. I mean, he Sam Darnold's even admitted, he goes, "Man, I was seeing ghosts out there." I think Peyton Watson has started seeing some ghosts, and he started missing some shots, and so now all of a sudden you start clutching. And there's not a sport I know, Coach, tell me, whether it's throwing the football,
Yeah.
whether it's getting past the receiver, whether it's hitting a golf club, whether it's swinging a bat, if you're gripping, all you're doing is hurting yourself.
Yeah.
And Peyton Watson started gripping, and defensively he was great this year, but he never advanced. After about 2/3 of the season, he plateaued.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he got to play more games than he usually plays or anything like that. And I'll tell you what, hey, listen, wait till you see college football and basketball in the NIL era now. Guys start getting a little money, and all of a sudden the bling starts going up, and all of a sudden them jeans you ain't buying them jeans from the Gap, you're buying them from Louis Vuitton, and you look better and all that, but that don't mean your game's any better.
Hey, real quick, Scotty, what'd you think of the AG game tonight? I know that, you mentioned a little bit of the shooting, but what I loved is when the Wolves tried to get, I thought, physical and bullyish in the third quarter. Not only did AG match all of them, I was thinking of you. There's that one where on TNT they said that he tried to end Gobert's life with going in there and trying to dunk on it. Like, I just love the fact that we've been talking a lot about how we'd like to see the Avs, frankly, for me, punch Jamie Benn in the face. I felt like AG was like, if we're going to get rough, boys, I'm right here to be in the middle of it. Did it feel that way tonight with you?
Oh, yeah. Do you not remember when McDaniels basically went into Murray on that layup? He wasn't trying to block the shot and just basically like pushed him hard to the ground. Who was the first guy to get McDaniels?
Oh, yeah.
Face?
AG he was not having it.
Yeah. So, no, hey. Maybe I'll make me a tap T-shirt and give AG a tap T-shirt.
I want to buy one. I'll pay for it, man. I'll endorse it for free, brother.
Listen, I don't know what you guys can tap all you want. All I'm saying is Rally Sausage is 3-0. You can maybe need a Rally Sausage T-shirt.
Have fun with your little meat and play with it and handle it all you want.
I always have fun. My meat is 3-0.
The bottom line is, fellas, I've been married 18 years, Scotty. I've tried some. I got home, from work and college football a lot of times after midnight or 1 a.m. I've tried the tap methodology in the middle of the night, and I'm like, I'm 0 for tap. So sometimes you got to go back to your own little meat, man. You got to get your rally sausage.
You got to have a rally sausage.
Yeah, but listen, here's what you don't understand. That's what mornings are for.
I've learned that in my 40s. The 40s really revealed that to me, Scotty.
Let me tell you all about the Rocky Mountain Men's Club. No, I'm just kidding. Ain't nobody sponsoring this thing. So, all right, boys, I'll tell you what. It's midnight. Scotty, happy Wednesday to you. We've had a great Scotty and I were trying out some new stuff. So, what are we doing tomorrow? Are you going to be in Minnesota tomorrow?
I want to be in Minnesota. We'll do it like we did last time. We can have Coach jump in, talk in that third period.
I don't know. You want to talk Avs, Coach?
You know what?
The Avs show has not been as fun.
It hasn't, but I haven't lost all hope, man. You still have Nathan McKinnon. He still hasn't broken through in this postseason the way that I think everybody wanted him to. I could see a Nathan McKinnon breakthrough tomorrow night. I really could.
Well, I hope so.
In my opinion, going back to what we talked about Peyton Watson, I think he's gripping a little bit too. I think he understands what needs to be done. I thought he gripped last year against the Kraken.
Look, we could talk more about it at some point. Val, I was reading that article by Pierre LeBrun in The Athletic. If you haven't, I highly recommend you read it. He talked to anonymous general managers that said in the West that said Val is really the force on that team. Val is the hardest playoff guy to play against. Their winning percentage is around 800 versus 500 without him. And he can't be replaced, and that's the problem. And the other thing that sucks is he He did fail a drug test, according to LeBron, and they cannot. He said, whatever this is, because they want players to seek this help, there's no terminating the contract when it comes to the cap relief. So this thing ain't done. It's going to be a minute. But, but again, I need to see desperate play out of the Avs like the MVP of the damn NBA just showed the world tonight. He was not having a loss, and he was not – he knew, I'll score. If you guys ain't going to shoot, then I'll score, right? I will score till you feel comfortable shooting. So maybe Nate got to do the same.
Hey, Coach, I like my new background.
Oh, that's a beauty, man. Look at those legs, man. Those are –
Is that high school, though, Scotty? You said that's high school?
That's high school. That's me in high school.
What high school did you go to?
Independence High School, Independence Bulldogs, Independence, Kansas.
Nice. Is that same as Independence Junior College, same city?
Yeah, ICJC. That's right.
That's right, baby. That's right. That's the famous Jason Brown from what was it? Last Chance U was Independent Indy.
Was that? Hey, but was that not one of the best ones? Yeah,
it was so good, man. It was so good.
That was good, wasn't it?
It was so fun to watch, man. The funniest thing was that Jason Brown. He grew up in Compton, California, in the hood, man. It's like it's a crazy. Ended up coaching in Independence, Kansas. It was too good, man.
I love that series because all the old dudes that were always at the donut shop after the weekend. I know all those guys.
You recognize every one of them.
I played golf with about 3 of them. Yeah, I knew all them guys in there, man. Yeah.
Hey, real quick, move your head again. Let's get a good look at the picture.
All I could say is skies out, thighs out, baby.
No, here's the deal. Speaking of little sausages, isn't some short shorts, but everything looks contained to me. Ain't nothing with your John Stockton shorts.
Us athletes back in those days wore a thing called a jock strap.
The old banana hammock, baby.
As a girdle. You were wearing a girdle.
No, I was in that picture right there. I was 6'9", 183 pounds.
Oh my gosh!
I cannot believe how big you are. Who are you playing against? It looks like you're playing against a grade school.
No, that's just. I'm sorry. They look at my waist is above that dude's head. That's called jumping ability.
It is, and Andy, don't throw any shade whatsoever on Kansas high school basketball. It's one of the best states of high school basketball. Indiana's in there too. I went to high school for 2 years in Indiana. I couldn't believe how damn good the basketball was.
All right, I don't care. I don't care. All I'm saying is the man's shorts are short and ain't nothing escaping. So you're gonna make fun of my rally sausage.
They need to bring them shorts back. The big baggy things were stupid.
They were dumb. They looked really bad when you look back at like early 2000s highlights. You're like, what are they doing, man? Hey, Scotty, how was the call with Kaz, man? Did you did Kaz hold it together pretty good, or was he pretty amped up, man?
Oh, he gets amped up. He's got a new thing now. Like if they hit a big shot and the other team calls a timeout, he likes to go nuts, and then they'll go, "We'll take a timeout on the Nuggets radio network." and he brings it way down, right? It's pretty funny.
I've heard that he loves previewing. He loves like being the prophet of the timeout. Like if the Nuggets score here, this will be a timeout. Nuggets basketball. We have a timeout. No.
Hey, you know what? Now that you mention it, he calls that pretty good.
He's pretty damn good.
Nugget bucket here. Minnesota's going to take a timeout. And I get to see it first because as an analyst, you get to watch and do. And sure enough, he makes it. I'm going timeout, Minnesota. Timeout, Minnesota.
No, is he a stander? Does he stand when he does it, or does he stay seated?
Oh no. He stays seated. The dude's got high blood pressure. I'm worried about him. He gets amped up now. He gets amped up.
Yeah, those knees aren't probably allowing him to get out of his seat too often. I'm guessing. My damn knees aren't holding up too good myself.
I'll give you another secret when he broadcasts. Whenever there's a foul call, and he goes foul on Murray. He raked him across the arms, and he always leans over to me, and however the foul happened, he does it to me. That was a shove, and next thing I know, I'm getting shoved. And so he acts out all the foul calls. He acts out on me. The key is I've been starting to anticipate and beating him to the punch.
Hey, Scotty here. We have record viewership here, at least since I've been on. That's for damn sure. Probably because you're on, Scotty. And everybody's calling on Andy right here. That Andy's tired. He's not down for the grind, man. You know.
Well, no, people are starting to jump off. I'm paying attention to the numbers.
I'm watching the numbers. They just went up again, man. They just went up again. I'm just playing with you, man. Let's get some damn rest.
How many people we get on here today?
We're coming towards 900 again. About 50. What, you want to wait till that was done?
And it's 12:09 right now in Denver. We got people watching from Kuwait. We got people watching from all over, man.
Oh, Creaky 5S was a real noise today. Minnesota pumps in noise. They pump up, defense and all this different stuff, and they amp up the volume on all the music. No, the Nuggets won't do it because there was a franchise, I think it was Milwaukee, got fined like $25,000 or $50,000, and they said, we don't care, we're keeping it up, and so they kept doing it. And once that threat of like a $25,000 or $50,000 fine, the guys that run the show, they say, well, we ain't risking that one, so they don't pump it up if they pumped it, because listen, it was loud in there anyway. That place was. It
looked unbelievable on TV. And, in the words of Chris Finch, I'd like to see the line item, on that fine right there for the noise being pumped in, because he sure wanted to see the line item on that Rudy Gobert versus the Jamal Murray fine. So,
well, listen, I said this to D-Mac, wrote me earlier, and I'll ask you, Coach, put your coach hat back on. If you've got a coach over the last 2 or 3 games, all he's talking about is they were too physical. Why did our guys get fined? How come we're not getting? And all of a sudden, that's all you're talking about. Like when Malone got beat them first 2 games, he wasn't bitching about the officials.
He was talking about how they played.
He said, there ain't no excuse. We didn't play good. We didn't have. And all Finch has done the last 3 games, and I didn't hear him tonight, so I won't say tonight, but his complaint about officiating and no calls or this, Rudy's getting fined. I'm like, they've taken your soul. They've taken a piece of your soul that now your focus is all the way over there and making excuses for your team instead of your team.
Well,
yeah, I had that same exact conversation tonight, Scotty. I'm the head coach of the Savages 14 and under rec softball team my daughter plays on, and my daughter didn't like some of the strikes that were called on her today. So she struck out, and I told her, I was like, you struck out because you were too concerned with what happened in strikes 1 and 2. You were too worried about the officials instead of just saying, you know what, they called what they called, and I'm going to go out and get the next one. I'm going to readjust my strike zone, and I'm going to understand if it's at my knees, I got to go swing. And it's exactly the lesson I said on our drive home tonight. Exactly what you just talked about.
Hold on, you drive home coaching? Be careful about the drive home coaching now.
Wow, what's the matter?
Cubans on the raft. Hey, let me tell you a little secret for coaching your daughter.
I want to hear it.
Listen, you're a psychologist. I coached my daughter in high school in varsity basketball when I was coaching Arapahoe High School. And I told her going in, I said, listen, I'm probably going to be harder on you than everybody else because you're my daughter. I don't want everybody to think you're getting anything. You're going to earn it, right? And I was probably tougher on her. But on the way home or when we got home, she and I would sit down for 5 or 10 minutes, and I'd let her tell me everything that bothered you with what I said or did today. And we would talk it out. And then I was dad. But I gave her a voice with her and I. And she said something one time. He goes, what, is there anything you got? Tell me. She goes, I don't mind you getting on me, and I know why you do it, and that's okay. But when I do something good, it'd be nice to be complimented once in a while. And I went, oh. And she was right on. I mean, right on, because she was a good player. I think she was all league or something like that, or second team all league. So she was a good player and got recruited a little bit. And I probably held back encouragement or props because I didn't want people to think I was favoring.
All right, gentlemen, on that note, we're going to wrap it up. It is now 12:15. It's time to go to bed. We'll try this again tomorrow, and we'll see what the Avs give us to talk about, because Scotty now, instead of driving like a brick wall, he'll be in a hotel room, and I don't even know where Sanford will be. Sanford will be probably someplace fancy. Apparently, he'll be coaching. You even going to see the whole game?
I might be at the Rapids game tomorrow night, man. I don't know. I think I might need to support that. They play a Wednesday night game at Vancouver against Vancouver here at Dick's Sporting Goods. So I might be there. I might be in the press box up there doing the show with you guys. That'd be fun.
Well, we'll see.
Well, you know what? Or you could drive tomorrow and let your wife hold the phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
There you go.
and do something like that, or let her drive and you sit in the passenger seat. Here's the funny thing: if you don't know, Mike, if you do one of these things with Andy after the game, after a Avs game, and God forbid they lose,
Angry Andy.
woo,
Angry Andy
Dude.
probably comes out in full force now.
Listen, I'm
It
still
was-
pissed
it
Jamie
was-
Benn ran our goalie and nobody did anything about it. Hey, that's not how it's supposed to happen. That ain't supposed to how that's go
Angry.
down.
angry and blue. He'd sound like Richard Pryor, some of the language coming out. of
I'm
his
going to
mouth
tell you
last
right
night.
now, I do want blood when it comes to hockey. I got problems sometimes. I got that hockey anger in me.
Just give us the blood tomorrow night, Abs. I don't even care if you win or lose. Just give
Look,
us the
man,
blood.
just run Jamie Benn. Just
Yep.
break his punk ass nose. That's all I'm
Yep.
asking. Am I asking for too much? I'm sick of him.
Just like
Sick of
Reggie,
him.
just like Reggie Jackson said, man, it could not be more appropriate after game 2. He
Oh.
said, I love what he said, man. He's like, you can win the game, but you can't win the fight and the game. Like that's got to be the
You can't lose the fight and lose the game. Yeah,
yeah,
that was
yep, that's right.
that was one of the most brilliant takes
I loved it.
I've ever heard. You can't, and that's part of Tap.
It is,
To
man.
be honest with you,
Hey, I saw this quote before, kind of on the way out. Did you guys see this from Aaron Gordon? Aaron Gordon had an absolute beauty today. It was I don't know what piece it was from, but I saw it on the internet. It was basically talking about the way he broke it down was so incredible. There's a human limit. I don't have it on my phone right now, but there's a human limit to what you're able to do when you're by yourself. Like you're playing inside of yourself, and that limit just gets completely blown out to really an unlimited ratio when you're doing it for the people around you. And I just thought it was so beautiful the way he said it. And that's exactly what I think we've seen with how he's playing and the Nuggets' response after game 2.
and that's the definition of team. When
Yeah.
you've got a good team, that's the definition. It's not about yourself, and it's, I've said this 1,000 times. I mean, I was playing basketball before the money got giant, but it was still more than I'm making now. I mean, it was like 500,000. I'd take 500,000 right now in a heartbeat. But you don't miss playing because of the money. You miss playing because of the locker room and the guys and the, being down 15 and coming back and winning a game, or being undermanned and finding a way to win, and just that joy that you experience with somebody besides yourself is just, it's fabulous, and you can't bottle it. I mean, there's no one been able to bottle that.
Boys, we're signing off. You need to go to bed, Scotty. You got a flight in the morning, and we will see what tomorrow brings. So for everybody, we appreciate everybody jumping on. We're so close to 900, but that's okay because it'll have plenty of views by the time we get to tomorrow. So good night, all. We'll talk to you later.
Say good night,
God bless
Betty.
you.
Good night, Betty.